Welcome to Videopoem. I've got a great guest for you tonight. It's Jacque Roche, who's an amazing music promoter and radio show, and amongst a lot of other talents. Hey, Jacque.
Hey, how are you, Bob?
I'm great. So awesome that you could come on the Videopoem.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So, let's just jump right into it. Why don't you tell my guests about the radio show that you host, a little bit about it, how you got into it?
Well, I host Jacque's Giant Hudson Valley Music Show, and the purpose of the show is to feature musicians from the Hudson Valley, either that are born and raised in the Hudson Valley or that are performing in the Hudson Valley. I have them come on the show and interview, and then we do some in-studio performances.
So, what's the station? It's a community radio station, right?
Yes, it is.
And what are the call letters?
It's Pawling Public Radio, WPWL 103.7.
And it can also be heard on the web, right?
Right now, it's best to listen to us streaming on pawlingpublicradio.org.
.org, huh?
But we're building a tower. As a matter of fact, tomorrow they should be pouring the pillars, I guess is the word. And that tower will go up, and it should expand down into Patterson, out into Danbury. And but we'll always be streaming.
Now, you've been doing the show for about a year, you were telling me?
A year in June.
So what inspired you to get into it, and how did you get into it?
Well, I kind of stumbled into it, like most things that I end up doing. A friend of mine was doing a show called Local Heroes, Don Lowe, and he invited me to come sit in, and they put the mics, the headphones on my head, and I started talking, and they couldn't get the mic away from me. So they just said the following week, you have a show, because they know that I'm a booking agent as well, and I work with a lot of musicians. So I've been bringing people in and interviewing and haven't stopped since.
So you're also a booking agent, so that must help with the show. How long have you been a booking agent for?
Not much longer than that. Another thing that I just fell into, but actually that's not true. I've been doing it since about 2014.
And so what does it entail, booking agent? I mean, you get musicians and you get them gigs?
Well, it started, I work at Muscoot Tavern, and I book the talent that comes in there. And I started befriending.
Are you working Muscoot?
I
That's
do.
a great restaurant up in Summers, off of 35, right?
Yes, it is. They have excellent food.
Oh yeah, you love
and
the
pizza.
pizza.
They have really good music on Saturday nights from 8 to 11.
Yeah, and one of your friends is playing Artie. You might want to give that a shout out.
Oh, Artie's playing there. Well, he's playing there this Saturday, but he's there every third Saturday. So September, I don't know the dates so well.
Okay.
The 14th, I think it is. And so I started out with booking at Muscoot Tavern, and then Artie and I became friends through that. And I started booking him in other venues and a few other people, that I liked. If I started booking him as well.
So how do you decide who you want to come on your show? Like, just how does that process work?
Well, because I'm in Pawling, I'm very close to Daryl's house. So a lot of times I'll look at Daryl's house calendar.
And maybe you might want to explain to my viewers what Daryl's house is.
Oh, I just assume everyone knows.
I know it, but I don't. You'd be surprised.
Well, Daryl Hall is from the group Hall & Oates, and he owns a restaurant in Pawling Public Radio. No, he doesn't. I'm at Pawling Public Radio. He owns, in Pawling, New York, he owns Daryl's House Club. That was a gaffe. Maybe I need to invite him on the radio.
Yeah, it'd be great, huh?
Yeah, so I go on his calendar, and I look who's playing, and I reach out to the management companies, and I invite those folks to come in and interview or call in and interview. And then local musicians reach out to me as well, or I go on Facebook where I meet most of my friends, where I met you.
Yes.
And find them that way as well.
So how do you find the management listing? I know when I've looked for that stuff in my own stuff, sometimes it's not always the easiest to find it listed.
Honestly, Bob, all I do is Google who manages. I wanted to find Larry Campbell and Teresa Williams. They were playing at Daryl's house. They're rock and roll.
I know who Larry Campbell is. Was he on your show?
He was.
Wow.
He and Teresa called in. I just Googled who manages Larry Campbell and Teresa Williams. They did their first album last year, and they were playing at Daryl's house. Came up, I think it's Red House Management or something like that. And then I go to the website, and a lot of times if you just scroll and move around, it isn't always impossible. Or the way I got Melissa Etheridge interview is I tweeted it. I just said, Melissa, you're playing in the Paramount Hudson Valley on whatever the date was at the time. Don't you want to support that local venue? Come on my radio show. And
You actually tweeted it?
Yeah.
And she wrote you back?
Well, one of the people in her organization wrote to me and said, if you're serious, here's how you reach out to her.
Wow.
And I did. And she called me. Melissa Etheridge called me on my phone in my house, and we talked.
And that's what you recorded for the interview? I heard the interview was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was good, right?
Like, you're like a natural. It's interesting because you seem like you've been doing it longer than a year.
Well, I've been talking since I was 8 weeks old, I think. My mother says I never shut up.
Yeah, but do you like get people to want to talk about themselves? It's a really good quality.
Well, I'm interested in people, and I'm curious about what makes them tick, and I just ask questions. I remember my dad always yelling at me and going, "Stop interviewing me!" Like, I just ask a lot of questions, and
Because you're naturally curious.
yeah, I am.
And then you bring that to the musicians you have on. So talk about so you're into promoting like the Hudson Valley musicians.
I work with a couple of different musicians. They are mostly in the Hudson Valley. And as far as promoting, even as far as booking or just like social media promotions or,
Yeah, so we met through Facebook.
Yes,
so obviously
we did.
you're pretty adept at social media. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, promoting and stuff? You
Well,
do Twitter?
I tweet.
What's your Twitter thing? Because I'm not friends with you on Twitter yet.
Well, I don't do it a lot. Well, actually, what's really cool is I'm constantly on Facebook, as you
Yeah,
know.
I'm friends with you right now.
And it's at Jacque Roche. I
Okay.
don't know if there's an underscore in the middle or not, but if you Facebook something or you post on Facebook, I hooked it up so it automatically tweets as well. So it saves time.
Yeah, I've done that. And are you on Instagram too?
I have an account, but I just don't. There's too much.
There's too much, right?
I've read this article that said you should pick something that you're interested in, get good at it, take something else, do it, and get good at it. So I'm still kind of working with the Twitter. And I think Twitter's fun. You get more instant responses. But I have a bigger following on Facebook, so I kind of keep going back to Facebook.
Yeah, you're great on
You're
Facebook.
actually doing that right now,
Yeah, I'm
aren't
doing
you?
it right now.
You know, I realized that one day I don't know
See?
where you... Here I am. I one day I noticed you were following me and you started liking it, and I'm like, who is this guy? And
Is that how we met on Facebook?
that's how we met. Just
I wonder who
I don't
you
know
were
how you
following.
found me.
There must have been someone. There was some
Well,
reason. I'm not a stalker.
I wondered. But what I do is a lot of times people would reach out to me. A lot of the musicians that were
There
playing.
must have been some musician that we were
Maybe.
common following.
Well, you started to follow Artie right around the same time, so I have a feeling it has something to do with something he was doing and I was.
But one thing,
promoting.
once I follow someone, I feel like a sense of loyalty. Then I don't like people just going out and just friending everyone. Like once I feel like I friend them, then I feel like I kind of owe it to that person to check out their posts because I want them to look at mine.
Right.
And so that's why I might say, oh, this guys might be liking it because that's how I tend to be. Like if I'm gonna take the time to friend them, then I'm gonna give them time because how people just flit around.
Well, sometimes I do that. So.
Well, if you start getting thousands of friends, I can understand it. But anyway, I always like your promotions because you always like putting up the cool radio show.
Well, I put up the radio show. I put up Stream of Consciousness. I actually decided I was going to cut back a little bit on my posting, and I started a blog. So far, I've had 2 days.
And
on the blog.
what's the name of the blog?
It's Jacque's Giant Journey.
And where can that
Journey.
be found?
Jacque's Giant Life Journey. You're asking too complicated questions now.
Well, where's it located?
It's on Blogspot, I think, in Google.
Okay, so it's Jacque. What's it called?
It's Jacque's Giant Life Journey.
Okay, blogspot.com. Okay.
Okay, and if you go on my personal page, Jacque Roche, JacqueRoche, I posted the 2 blogs. And all I know is 2. I just click my own link and get to it.
And what are the kind of stuff you write about?
Well, I'm writing about myself, a woman of a certain age that claims to not care about her age, but sometimes she does. And just trying to get through the life where it's a youth-obsessed culture.
It is, isn't it?
And, trying to...
You don't look like a day over 30, so
thank you.
what are you writing about?
Well, I work hard at it, I guess. And sometimes I don't care, and sometimes I do. But weird stuff happens to me all the time. And
But I can relate to that. I'm into my mid-50s now and stuff too, and like there's so much distance between like the younger people, and yet, I don't feel old.
no,
I feel like I'm in the moment. I feel like I'm like sometimes like 12 or 13. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that numbers that's there, and all of a sudden like you pull that number out though, and you tell people, because I don't like to lie or front. So like if someone wants to ask my age, I'm going to tell them. I try to leave it in the
try not to talk
background,
about
yeah.
it.
But if you bring it out, and they're like, and then they'll get shocked because I don't really look like a 54-year-old, per
No,
se. I don't think I do. Maybe I do.
I don't know. I never even think about it. It's kind of funny though when somebody goes, "You don't look that old." What's old?
Well, it's like how when you get older, your whole perspective on age changes, right? I'm saying I can remember being 27 years old and meeting someone who was 31, and like that person's so old. They're only 4 years older than me.
Right, right.
But thinking, oh my God, they're in their 30s. They're so old. And now it's just like,
Well, age really is just a number, and I have been meeting in the Hudson Valley. A lot of musicians are in their older years. And when I say older years, let's just say over 40. And it's not all 20-year-olds, although I love 20-year-olds, and I'm interviewing someone tonight called The Magnetic, and they are 25 range, and I'm really looking forward to that. But there are tons of people that are 40s, 50s, 60s.
what do you get like now in the Hudson music? Like probably like a lot of folk musicians and roots-oriented stuff. It's not just necessarily like rock-oriented, which tends to be more of a youthful thing, wouldn't you say? Or am I off base?
It's a little bit of everything, actually. I mean, I have friends that are playing metal that are in their 50s.
Oh, yeah?
And like some of the folks, like Don Lowe, he's kind of a Americana folk Arlo Guthrie type, and maybe not Arlo Guthrie, maybe that's not the right example, but that type of folk music. And then you've got Rick Augusta, who is in the Bourbons, and they're Americana rock, and they're
He does a
kind of
show on here
kooky.
too, doesn't he?
He does a show called On the Road
Must
again.
give him a shout. He's a nice guy. You should check out his show.
Yeah, I'll be on that show too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking over this station next.
Yes.
That's my next goal. I'm going to be a
Yes.
TV host.
The
So
host?
that's how it happens for me. I said one day, I think I want to be on the radio. And sure enough, a week went by and I was on the radio. So now I'm claiming on television here that I'm going to be on TV next. So watch
We've
for
been
that.
on 2 shows in the last couple of weeks,
Two
right?
shows in less than a month, yeah. I got to think about it.
And then you'd be hosting, and you'd get to be friends with Keith and Rita.
Yes, they're my new friends. Hi. And I would like to do something like I do on my radio show. I also do on the radio a musical showcase, which is every third Friday of the month. We take 3 acts and we go to different venues in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right. I have one this coming Friday. It's starting out with Mike Latini. He's an older guy. He plays acoustic guitar, singer-songwriter. Probably shouldn't be focusing on the age, but he's very good. Then we've got the Bob Cage Band. These are 2 guys. Typically, they're a 3 trio. And then the Magnetic is closing. They keep changing their instrumentation, but I think they're bass, guitar, drum, and vocal. And they're more like a punk rock.
Oh, yeah?
That energy. So we're doing that at the Patterson Rec Center. I'm looking for a place for my September 15th venue.
Yeah, how do you find these places?
I usually call places. Now, this last week, 2 different restaurants contacted me and asked me.
Oh, yeah?
So the word is starting to get out that we're doing this. Well, the benefit is that we take the show to the restaurant or the venue, whatever it is. We talk about it on the radio. As you know, I promote like a maniac on social media and get the word out about the restaurant or whatever. And we collect gifts. I donate, or they donate. I give them away. We raffle them off, and I'm talking about those donations on the radio as well. So it's a win-win for a lot of people. I do it all really on a 0 budget because
Now,
we're
were you doing
public.
that before you started the radio show, or has this all been in conjunction
I
with that?
started doing that when I worked well, I still work at Mascout. They also owned a restaurant called Social on 6 in Mayapack, and we needed to get some more customers in there. I started doing this showcase during happy hour, which is how I really got into meeting the musicians. And it was a 2-hour show, and again, no money involved, but we would bring people in during happy hour, have some music, and that really went well. I enjoyed doing that. So Don was one of the musicians, Don Lowe, told the radio station, when they heard me on the radio with this voice that I have.
Yeah, it's a cool voice.
It's kind of weird, right?
I like
it's
it.
Coming from here, which is kind of even weirder, is it sounds different to you than it does in my head.
Okay.
I think it's like gravelly and deep,
No, I like it.
but it's kind of like squeaky and high,
No,
isn't
not
it?
really. It's cool.
But anyway, but I talk a lot. See, so this is why I do a radio show. I should probably let you ask another question now.
Yeah, no, your show's like an hour long, right?
Thank goodness, huh?
And like, how do you fill up an hour? I can barely fill up 27 minutes.
Well, I don't have a problem filling up an hour. I don't talk that much on my show. Actually, I ask questions and I let my guests talk. I spend a significant amount of time researching my guests and finding out things that most people don't know about them by going on their social media accounts. And
Interesting.
Googling them and looking at other interviews or whatever I can find. Sometimes I'll reach out to their friends, tell me something that's going to be funny. So if you ever come on, be careful. And then I don't put them on the spot. I certainly don't want to make them look bad, but I want to hear from them, and I want to make them laugh, and I want to make them think. And they play 4 songs. Sometimes I join them.
So that adds a bunch of time right there,
That
right?
adds time. But if they're really interesting and they have a lot to say, we don't play 4 songs, we play 3. And then when the mics go off, they usually stick around and we have an after show, which I really should start recording on Facebook, but because then people are really relaxed by then.
Oh, really? You do an after show?
We do one in the studio, but we don't record it.
No?
No,
Why not?
well, because a lot of times some cursing is done and
Uh-huh.
people are a little more
yes.
open.
You want to keep it family oriented, right?
Yes, well, one of the guests actually, who's going to become an engineer there, Adam Vernier, he had a 360 camera that he was using, and I didn't know he left it on for the after show. And so I was, relaxed. And so I said some stuff that probably I would never say on the radio. But the 360 camera is really interesting, and we're going to start using that more.
So on a 360 camera, I guess I'm assuming it just picks everything up, like in a panorama, or?
It's hard to explain. Have you ever seen a video that they do for real estate agents when they're selling the houses?
Yeah,
You
okay.
can see like the whole room
Right.
at once almost. That's what it is. And so we're going to start doing the show and the musical showcases with those.
Cool.
Adam works at the Schoolhouse Theater, which is a great little theater
Isn't
in
that
Croton
Croton Falls? Yeah.
Yes. It's a 99-seat theater.
I've been there before.
Have you? He works there. He's the music director there.
I think I know some people they do theater there too, don't they?
They have plays there. Right now they're in the off season, but they're coming back with a
I think I knew people
play.
about 20 years ago, like used to be
Oh.
involved up there.
Well, there's a whole new crew there, and so we're going to tie the radio station and the schoolhouse together and try and
Oh,
do
yeah?
some projects. Hopefully, we're going to do a live show. Maybe it'll be a rehearsal for this show. Not your show, my own show. But
We can do it. I can have my show too. I
you
like
can
these
come on.
ideas.
But we like the idea of doing a radio show on stage, and
And that would be from the Croton Schoolhouse?
well, that's the plan, to do it at the now I just lost it, the Schoolhouse Theater.
And would you feed that through the Pawling?
Adam has got a way to do it so that we can
Oh, cool.
do it live. I got stuck on the word. I didn't know what I wanted. Sometimes I talk so fast I get tongue
No,
twisted.
you don't talk that fast. Don't worry about it.
No, you talk really fast.
Yeah, I do?
Yes.
Yes.
Because you're in the city.
Yep, it's that New York energy, hustling and bustling.
Yep. Yep. So I don't know if I have anything left to talk about. I kind of rambled on for a
Well,
while
why don't you
there.
interview me or something?
And I could interview you. So how would I do it? Well, first of all, I never really researched you too much But I would be curious to know how you found your guests.
You know, some of them, okay, it varies. Like I stumbled into a friendship with you.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I thought, wow, this person's really interesting because I'm in community media, so that was a big attraction. So I've been following you on Facebook, and like, wow, this person's doing all this community media, and I've been doing like community media, so like, I wanted to reach out for you on that one level, and then you've been having all these musicians to have them on them. So there was like, in the case of you, there was a lot of similarities I noticed between your show and my show, even though yours is a radio, it's video. The format was not that much different, at least when it comes to musical guests.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way I'll reach out to guests, but also too, like a lot of music I'm involved in. I guess they call it like roots music now.
Oh,
Have
really?
you heard that term?
Well, roots or Americana, roots rock,
Yeah.
Americana. Yep.
So I tend to have a lot of those type of artists on. Like a lot of artists I have on, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're huge, but they don't get a lot of publicity.
Right.
They get a lot of publicity in the communities that they're from, but overall, they're even heard of. Like this, I just had Sean Dean, the bass player from the Sadies, on, and like the Sadies, they're from Canada, and they're like national legends up in Canada. But
Oh, yeah?
down here, you mentioned them, hardly anyone knows them. I didn't even know about them except for John Doe, who's a musician from the legendary band X, which was a punk
X?
band. Yeah,
There's an X and there's an XX, right?
yeah, but this was X.
This is plain X.
And he was doing a solo thing, and he had this band, the Sadies, backing up, and we went to see them. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are amazing. We saw them on the City Winery. I don't know if you've ever been down to that venue.
Yep, City Winery. Larry and Teresa are going to be there in November.
It's a great place, right?
Yeah,
So my brother was still like the music manager at Borders. Borders went bankrupt, and he lost the gig. It was a great gig. He was the music manager there, and he saw him. So like the next day, or maybe 2 days later, he came home with all their CDs. He was
Oh, because they were throwing them out, or?
No, he just could afford them. He got a discount
he
being
bought
the
them
manager.
from
He bought
Borders.
them, yeah.
Oh.
And he did buy them. He didn't. There was no 5-finger discount. And, so he tells me.
Well, you told me Borders was going out of business. I thought maybe they were clean.
Eventually they did. They did go out of business. He lost that gig. But now I actually work at Trader Joe's, the wine shop, which is a whole other.
Trader Joe's?
Yeah, down in the city.
Oh, no, I've never been to that one.
It's a wine shop, so that leads to some interesting things. We
so he
never
gets
run
a
out of
dis-
wine, and that helps with the guests. So anyway, he came home with the Sadies and was like, these guys are incredible. Like, listen to CDs. And then, like, probably how you get to have guests on, we went. And, they come to New York at least about twice a year, about every 6 months. We started following them, and then they turned out to be really nice guys.
The Sadies and their roots?
They're in the roots genre, I'd say. And, like, they turned out to be really nice guys. And, like,
Yeah.
so it just started. They saw that we liked them, and I videotaped them. They liked my work on YouTube, and then became friends. And next thing I know, like, Sean, I want to interview for my show. It's like, okay. And they interviewed him.
And that's the story.
And it was like great. This is actually Webster Hall last May, and I interviewed him in the bathroom of all places.
So, the acoustics in the bathroom are great.
And it was wild. In Webster Hall, it was like all checkered, and it was like,
Yep,
and it was a fun night because Webster Hall is now going renovation for the next 2 years.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so this is one of the last gigs there. And like they were opening up for Justin Townes Earl,
I don't know who that is.
Steve Earle's son.
I still don't know who
See
that
what I'm
is.
saying? Another great roots guy. That's what I'm saying. You don't know who he is, but that you see
Yeah.
this guy and he's incredible. And I'm saying that's a lot of my music. Again, like people know them, but they don't. The large audience doesn't know them. And like I go out and I reach them and I put them on.
So what, do you do any writing?
I write. I have a blog. You saw a couple of it. I have to redo it. I had a whole thing, but yeah, I write.
Have you ever considered contributing to More Sugar?
I would like to. I've been trying to reach out to Tom.
Well, I can introduce you
Oh,
to
cool.
Tom and the editor there, because it's More Sugar is a great publication for music. It not only does it tell you what's going on in the area or where and the times and such. They have advertising for restaurants as well, but the editorial is good, and I say that because I write for them as well.
Great.
And
I like
others.
them. I get them. I pick them up. I go to a club in Hawthorne. It's a health
Victor's?
club, New York Sports Club.
New York Sport. Somebody delivers to
Yeah,
New
it's
York
right there.
Sports
That's where I
Club?
get my copy.
That's odd because I deliver to Hawthorne and I've not delivered it there.
It's there. I pick it up.
I delivered to a place called Gordo's.
Gordo's?
And Victor's.
I know Victor's and Gordo's quite well.
So there must be another person that's delivering.
New York Sports Club. So
Where is that?
it's, you know where the Applebee's is? So you know where, if you gotta go past Gordo's and over the thing and then 9A.
Yep.
It's not too far from Gordo's, about 2 miles. It's right up from the
okay.
Applebee's.
That's good to know. Maybe I can give them my deliveries. I want to start focusing a little more in Danbury because there's a lot going on in Danbury as far as music is concerned. And do you ever get out up there?
Not really. What about Stamford too? There must be a lot of going on.
Well, Stamford is a whole nother.
Because I have been up to the Ridgefield Playhouse.
Yeah, we have a relationship with the Ridgefield Playhouse too. I
Yeah.
love that place.
I've gone up there. We went up there to see Axe. It's so funny. Axe is like punk band.
Back
like,
to X again.
well, I'm just saying, like, so Ridgefield's a really preppy place.
Yes, yes.
So all these punks were up there. My brother's a punk, and we were just, you know, we hadn't been there for a while, so we pulled up. You know, and this woman.
Oh,
Just look at this, like, oh my God, looking at my brother. My brother's the most harmless.
I think I've seen pictures of your brother.
Yeah, I posted. It's the most harmless, sweetheart individual you'll ever meet, but he can look scary. He gets a scary look, you know, the punk.
Well, that's the look, yeah.
And
So Ridgefield Playhouse, that's not the easiest place to find. Did you have a hard time
no,
getting?
for us it's easy. We just come up from Chappaqua to 684-35. You just go 35
But it's
of the way
kind of
up.
like in the
But
middle of
we're
a
wrapping up
community.
our time. Can you believe it?
We are?
Yeah, only 40 seconds left.
Well, then you probably need to wind it up. Let me see how you do it.
I'm saying, like, my guest, Jacque Roche, has been on the Videopoem, and she's been marvelous. I know you've been watching it. She's fascinating. We're going to have her back on, you know. But you come back on, right, Zach?
I will. I'm going to write some more questions for you.
Yeah, for me to do it.
I'm so glad to have a chance to come and meet you in person instead of just Facebook
right.
texting.
It's like I'm a real person, you know,
You
like
really
flesh
are. You're real.
and stuff. And then now I'm friended you on Twitter, so
I
like
better
we're
start
gonna
tweeting.
we're gonna be tweeting, huh?
We'll have a Twitter war. Twitter war?
Yeah. Again, thanks a lot, Jackie.
Thank you.